That was weird. All right, we're good. That was a fast recovery. It's almost like Justin's got a lot of practice.
Yeah.
All right, so continuing. So yeah, the Hag is surprisingly durable and comes with a lot of powerful utilities, especially if they are in a coven. Now, aside from that, there's a few other little features this bad boy can do. As soon as I get my notes up, there we go. I want to talk about the fact that they have skills in deception and stealth. Already makes for a dangerous combination, but tossing in the fact that they can jump between the ethereal realm? Are you kidding me? They can do it at will. At will, they can jump into this other realm. And
you can't follow them usually.
Yeah, most players, some of the spellcasters might, but if they have it prepared, when was the last time you saw somebody prepare Blink gets prepared pretty regularly, but you can't control that one. It's just kind of a hit or miss, right? But then you got one person that can go into the ethereal realm fighting a hag or a coven. I don't think so. They're going to get torn to shreds. And to me, that is just terrifying as a player. And as a DM, I'm going to exploit the shit out of that. Hands down. I'm gonna take advantage. Oh, you think you got me? Psych. Boom, she's gone. And once again, that's a great opportunity for the DM to use it as a way to reveal some of the powers that the hag has. So maybe she uses it to escape the first time. So now they come prepared. Hey, we got the spell etherealness. We can use it. We can all shift and fight her when she tries to escape. That sort of thing. What do you guys think about that?
I think being able to transport into the ethereal realm is just cool. It just doesn't happen very often. So when it does, it's just this very cool moment of like, oh shit, they just went out of this plane of existence just for free.
And they can do it as an action just all the time. Makes them terribly terrifying, I guess.
It makes them slippery.
What's that, Anthony?
Tomb Annihilation, there's some good ones.
Is there?
Yes, that do that constantly. And you can torment the players with that. One of them's got a bag on her head that has a snake in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
This goes to show you that we take on Hags, especially a whole coven. You might want to do a little planning ahead.
Yeah.
For sure.
And once again, that's why I absolutely love the fact that the coven has the Hag Eye. Because now when they do the research, they're going to be like, oh man, you guys, this is going to be rough. But if we take this down, we can get the slight edge on them. And blinding them is certainly a way to do that. I don't think I touched much on the fact that they also have the Nightmare Haunting, which basically allows them to sap the strength of creatures that are sleeping while they're on the ethereal realm, or in the ethereal realm, which means you can't see it. And you're going to find out a lot more about that in our encounter for the podcast tonight, because in the encounter we have it's focused around hags. Imagine that.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
So we've talked a lot about both the lore and the mechanics of a hag. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that we need to before we move on? No? Think we hit it on the head?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So once again,
I would go so far as... Oh,
go ahead.
Oh,
you're good.
I would go so far as if when your players are taking a long rest with night hags, have her show up in their dreams and take that player aside and just tell them horrible things about the other players or make some kind of drama between all the different players when they're sleeping.
Send them all a message.
Yes, each one differently. And then have them almost paranoid of each other while she's, trying to deal with them.
So we have an actual awesome question that I want to hear some thoughts. What happens if you interrupt a hag coven ritual with the anti-magic field?
They're going to scream at you. That's what's going to happen.
And I would say that's a good strategy. Weakens them.
Yeah, I would throw in the dice. I would, depending on how powerful that person is throwing the spell. Depends what they're cooking up too.
Right.
So.
I mean, if you stop them from forming the coven, definitely would be a rewarding experience as a player, because you would know that they were about to be a whole hell of a lot stronger and you broke it. Also,
And that's a campaign within itself.
yeah. Also, if you fail, it can go from hey, we're gonna kill some hags to ha ha, we better run. Which
Very
is
quickly.
always fun. That's a really great example of consequences. That would be something to me that I would love to use a skill challenge to represent time and take into account all their activities, their rests and everything, so that when they get there, the DC is higher or lower depending on how far along the ritual is. And so you can have a mechanical consequence for them taking extra rests or getting distracted and going shopping when they know there's a timeline, because the ritual must be complete before the moon crests the horizon or some BS like that. So you show that time is important. So, and I love stuff like that. So, all right, I think we did pretty well covering the monster tactics, the hags, from the lore to the mechanical benefits. Obviously, we did focus more heavily for the tactics on the night hag, because that's the in my opinion the coolest one. But
Yeah.
we can only fit so much in our show. So if there's something that we didn't include or you want to check, you want to let us know about, let us hear it in the comments below, whether you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube, or send us a message via the social media and let us know what we could have did and added. I think that'll do it for our main topic today. Before we close out, before we move on to our next Unearthed tips and tricks, I do want to take a second. If you guys don't know, we have an upcoming Kickstarter for our Capes and Crooks. Every week we play test our superhero 5th edition RPG, and it is a lot of fun. If you want to see what it's like to have scaling cantrips that don't just scale in damage, but scale in utility, a completely open, customizable character where instead of having subclasses, you pick and choose your own features and essentially build your own subclass.
Kinda, yeah.
Then Capes and Crooks is for you. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, you can follow us along on YouTube with our Capes and Crooks journey, or you can head on over to critacademy.com/Capes and Crooks and sign up and get notified when it goes live. We are planning to have a playable demo or playable starting set for the backers. So we're super excited for that.
I also want to point out just how immensely versatile it is to make basically your own character in there. Me and Ian personally, we both picked the crime fighter class. I'll put in air quotes in there. And we play entirely differently. Like, we're not even like recognizably similar, and we're only like level 5.
Yeah.
Like that's how crazy like the paths diverge. It's so crazy.
Weird as it sounds, I wonder which one of our characters will win the fight. I think yours has more advantages, but you never know.
I agree.
I would like to know. We should find out someday.
This is just the end. I do have a lot of stuff up. I'm very just constant DPS, but it's not very high DPS. That's another thing.
Consistency can outbeat chance, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
Alrighty, on to our Unearthed tips and tricks. Who would like to tell us about our character concept today?
I will take care of the character concept today. So our character concept today is the Tiny Scoundrel, which is like myself because I'm 5'6" and I'm considered short. So, the greatest heroes of legend are those who defeat giants, dragons, or other oversized threats to their homes and communities using their wits, their agility, and a hefty dose of audacity. These heroes aren't necessarily armored warriors wielding legendary swords, and they don't have lands or noble titles. Who needs those?
Right.
They are ordinary folk who rise to the challenge of the times, proving that size and strength aren't needed to come out on top. You're one of these heroes. Like most small folk, you have found that the best way to get in a world full of much larger creatures is to stay out of their way. Doing that might mean keeping out of their sight or staying on their good side. It might also mean keeping out of their reach or dodging their attacks. Stealth and trickery might not be weapons and armor by themselves, but they are a useful supplement to the finest steel. Coupled with your natural daring and determination, these strengths are enough to bring you victory against any foe, no matter how large, though I would say still stay away from the dragons, they're still a little strong. Compared to
They
the...
breathe fire and find you delicious.
Yes!
Tastes like chicken.
Compared to the legendary heroes of other races, you might come across as a scamp or a scoundrel. Disregard that. The fact that you're crafty, resourceful, and sometimes sneaky doesn't make you any less of a hero. You might have been blessed with courage beyond question, ingenuity sufficient for any challenge, and the stealth you need to survive. You're like the lawful good rogue instead of the lawful evil rogue.
The one who's stealing shit all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, this is meant for gnomes and goblins and the halfling races.
Mhm.
This is something that gets overlooked. Everyone always feels. I often feel like people think size matters, and in some situations that's true. But I think playing a tiny scoundrel, it can be so much fun. And this really gives a good apt description of what kind of style you should play. Anthony, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I'm digging it.
It's the right answer.
D&D, never underestimate anybody smaller than you.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
It's,
This came from the Player's Handbook 2 from 4th edition.
yes.
Hmm.
Um,
I would even go a little further beyond. You could even take this, even though it's strictly talking about small folk.
mhm.
The first paragraph, even then, like you can kind of, with the whole like these heroes aren't necessarily armored warriors
Mhm.
wielding legendary swords or anything like that. You could easily take that into any like regular humanoid character as well,
sure.
where like you're just some nobody came from some land and you could have just been like a commoner and you're just rising to a time of need.
I
you
think
know?
that fits the folk hero background really, really well.
Yes.
Well, you didn't set out to be a hero, but happenstance led you into it, and so
Mhm.
you use your wit and your agility to defeat your threats. So
Hmm.
that's pretty
So I like that.
straightforward. Yeah. So
Yeah, I like that one. That was pretty good.
all right, that'll do it for our character concept, the tiny scoundrel. Our monster variant of the podcast is the Voidwalker. That is the wrong book.
I'll say.
Oh, this is cool.
There we go.
This seems familiar.
Do you think? So,
Yeah.
so the
I think I
Voidwalkers
played
are.
a character of this.
Yeah, you might have helped build it. Voidwalkers are cosmic guards that maintain the balance of all that exists in the world. While the paladin of this oath, or this monster variant in this case, may interpret the tenets of the void slightly different, one thing always remains the same. All things will eventually return to the void. Many of these warriors hold high respect for one another, shirking the idea of infighting in order to prevent reality from shattering around them. They very much are the gray area hero, right? And they believe that balance is priority. So I wanted to make this into a monster because I need it for something. And I wanted a hero that rides the line of, hey, he's a hero. That is wrong. But I see his point kind of character. So obviously I
Yeah.
made this. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with the origin stat block of the gladiator. You're going to lose the shield bash, the shield, and the parry. Those are some core features of the gladiator. We're going to chuck them out there. We're going to give the Voidwalker make him a 6th level spellcaster. We're going to give him the ability, a spellcasting ability, charisma save, 14 with a +6 to attacks, though I don't think any of them have them. The big core features of the Voidwalker is going to be 4 1st level slots of absorb elements and shield of faith. Woo-hoo-hoo, what a daring combo. Absorb
Love me some
elements.
absorb elements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Taking the
So
power
good.
from somebody attacking you and turning it against them. Hell yeah. And Shield of Faith, they usually use that to protect themselves, but they may occasionally apply it to somebody else.
Yeah, you know.
We're going to top it off with that slipping into the void field with Misty Step. And of course, because these are true characters that believe in keeping balance, they kind of need to know when people are telling the truth, so we're going to give them Zone of Truth. Now, here's the interesting stuff. We're going to give him Aura of the Void. The Voidwalker emanates an aura of dimensional distortion while it's not incapacitated. The aura extends 10 feet from it in every direction, but not through total cover. When a hostile creature in its aura makes an attack against an ally, the Voidwalker can slip the attack attacker into the void before the attack hits. It uses its reaction to force the creature to make a charisma saving throw. And on a fail, the creature slips into the void, teleports them to an unoccupied space anywhere in its aura that it can see. This attack misses. Oh, doesn't that suck?
Very good.
So, and not only can it teleport itself, but it can force enemies to teleport. Because it is a paladin archetype, we are going to give it lay on hands with a 25 hit point pool. Now, one of my personal favorites is Void Slip. When a Voidwalker's ally is being assaulted by a foe, it can slip itself and the ally into the void, teleporting and swapping places. When the ally it can see within 60 feet is hit with an attack, I realize I just copied and pasted the same line. Anyways, it swaps places, forcing a willing creature to change places with it instantly. And if the attack would hit the Voidwalker's AC, it takes damage from the top. Otherwise, it basically misses. This is a 100% got to be a willing creature, but it does require a short or long rest to recharge. But being able to instantly swap and protect a weaker creature, or swap and change with a powerful creature that needs to recover or something, is a very powerful tool. Anthony, what do you think about that?
Love it. If it's Forgotten Realms, I would make it a Paladin of Helm.
Yes, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
What do you guys think? Anything in particular about it? It does have a great sword and a hand crossbow that I gave it instead of the shield. I don't think I mentioned that, but I gave it a poison crossbow from the drow. Yeah.
That's cool.
Knock
I like
people
that.
out. Yeah, it was a nice little touch. So
I mean, I helped create the Voidwalker whole shtick, so I mean, of course I'm into it. But
I know.
I would love to have this as like these are like if you went to like a temple or something, and these are like the common guards, and all of them were like
God.
this, and you're just kind of looking around like something feels horrifyingly wrong here. It's like you take one step into the temple and you feel like your world is swimming around you.
Oh no.
And you're just like, I don't like this. This smells bad.
Especially if they all can do that. You're just constantly
Exactly.
like, that would be one of the most mobile battlefields ever, because people would just be like, the enemies would be darting around the whole time.
Wouldn't that be
That'd be so
cool though?
That'd be disorienting. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
The other week, I finally caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where I'm going with this, for those of you who
yeah.
see it. Because there's one
Yeah.
character's ability is he can swap places with another individual or object. And he used it to confuse the living crap out of his opponents, especially in team fights.
That's cool. And that's definitely what it does. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking on the screen, you can actually see the printed PDF that I made. This is something that gets made every single week for our patrons. So if you like this quality, you can pick all of them up, become a patron. For a few bucks, you can pick up all these high quality monsters, or you can just go build it yourself by reading our show notes, because
There's someone in chat whose name is the last Voidwalker.
Oh,
And
no
they
way.
There's a happy emoji.
Oh, that is awesome. I didn't even catch that.
That's funny.
You guys got anything else on this?
Nah, I'm good. I got nothing.
I really like this because this is a character that can go either way. Honestly, if my players are murder hobos, this son bitch is coming after you.
And they're coming fast.
Maybe
they're
I'll
not
send
coming slow.
Maybe I'll send like 4 or 5 of them after him.
It's just because like you're gonna look at them and you're gonna start seeing them just like do one of those, and they're just disappearing all around you. And you're like, this isn't good. Why are some heavily armored dudes teleporting?
That seems annoying. All right, I think that'll do it for our monster variant of the day, the Voidwalker. Anthony, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast?
Yeah, the Dream Eater.
Yeah.
When the characters stop by a small town for a short respite, a local young female, a night hag, polymorphed, points the characters to the local inn. They overhear a distraught parent who just lost their child to the night terrors. The characters inquire for more details. Saren, a male commoner, the parent of the night terrors, have been taking people in the small village. Isn't a smart man, but he does know that his young daughter had terrible nightmares for 2 days straight. They were so bad, it prevented her from getting any rest, and she slowly grew weaker. This morning, she didn't wake up at all. The characters investigate. Group must succeed in Investigation skill challenge. The character has a Shelter of the Faithful background. A local acolyte invites them to stay at the temple. This will protect them from nightmare hauntings. The characters must gain 3 successes before they gain 2 failures. Each check represents a day of investigation. During this time, the characters become targets of the Night Hag's nightmare hauntings. On a success or a failure, the characters learn the following information. There have been 3 deaths so far, each one having horrible nightmares before their death. You start nearly a few days ago. All of the attacks took place on the opposite side of the village, small holy temple. The village's small holy temple. The characters failed the skill challenge, then a hag will ambush the party and catch them by surprise unless preparations are taken by the characters to specifically avoid this. A successful DC 13 intelligence religion or use of detect magic reveals the temple is warded by the protection from evil and good. This protects the temple from the evil hag. A successful DC 18 intelligence arcana deck allows a character to connect the dots to the night hag, possesses a greeter travelers. Upon defeat, a character can make a DC 18 intelligence nature or wisdom survival check to attempt to harvest each of the hag's eyes. These potent magical material components can increase the spell save DC of a necromancy spell cast with them by 3. The component is consumed upon casting. If the target fails a check, they suffer the effects of the hag's nightmare haunting while awake. Yeah. The magic item.
Oh my! No, we're gonna stop there.
Okay.
we gotta talk about the encounter.
Okay.
So
What do you guys
Okay.
think? On brand?
definitely
On
on
brand.
brand.
I got the dice. Let's do this.
So the core feature that we mentioned briefly was their night wasn't it nightmare hauntings, which basically if they can do from the ethereal realm while you're sleeping, not only do you not get a long rest, but it does psychic damage, and if it reduces you to 0, you're dead.
Yeah.
So think about that during this investigation that's taking place. If they aren't protected, either by a player casting the protection from good or evil, or going to the temple, or some other like magic circle maybe, they will have a heck of a fight on their hands should they actually engage the hag or a coven if they are.
Yep.
What do you guys think about this story?
Yeah, it's awesome. I would say make it a little bit more horrific. Have the players encounter a poor person who's sleepwalking, walks right into the well.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a good idea.
I like that.
That horrific spin.
I like the idea that you can harvest the hag's eyes because they're obviously potent with magical properties. I am also maybe it's just like morbid curiosity. I've been watching way too much anime in my life, but I would like an eye transplant of like one of the characters putting in the hag's eyes. I know it's like a horrible like Naruto reference because of obviously the Uchiha clan thing. But
You can certainly try.
I just wonder like what would it do?
Like, who would take that risk? Hey, I could cut out my eye and put this in. What do you think? You can certainly try that.
I just imagine like, are you a trained professional? And they're like, no. And they're like, I don't know if you. Are you sure about this?
So the big thing I wanted to include, as you guys know, I've been working hard to include background features or
Yes.
tools or those more utility spells. In this case, detect magic, protection from good and evil, and the shelter of the faithful background really become a good step in the right direction for that. Because this easily could just be, hey, a hag's attacking. Oh, they found out. They go fight her. But there's so much more laid out in this short encounter. I say short, but it's pretty long-winded. But it's a short encounter.
That's short.
But I like the addition of the skill challenge because you can make that take place like, okay, you guys roll, give me a skill challenge. They each roll, everyone gets the rolls. They succeed. All right, the first day, here's what happens. And then you go into the description of somebody being attacked and how they wake up and how they react. Or you can do one roll at a time. All right, who's leading the investigation. You are, give me a roll. Okay. First day of investigation based off this check. Here's what you learn. The night goes down. You got to go to bed, and then you get attacked. And so it creates a very progressive threat, I think. So, assuming they don't take any precautions. And yeah, I love the magic eye item. I totally didn't steal that from the Hag's Eye Coven thing at all.
If I was DM, I would totally torment the players' long rests.
Yes.
That's absolutely. And I think that's a very big thing here.
Yeah, and because that's something that doesn't get addressed often, you know. One thing that can make fighters and barbarians and rogues, all the melee classes, outlast the wizards is the fact that they don't have to rely on spells. But as soon as you include minions in this and you start consuming the wizard's resources and stuff, this becomes a place for the fighters and the warlock to shine because they don't require a long rest except to maybe heal. And so this would be a good sort of encounter for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I remember the build he came up with that was a sorcerer warlock. It's like, sleep, what's that?
the coffee lock, yeah. Any other comments on this?
Don't need it. No, it's pretty good. I really like that. I really like the inclusion of the backgrounds. I really like the inclusion of the head being harvested. I will put. So yeah. I totally
am planning a product that's based around like enhanced material components. To not only bring attention to the fact material opponents can be an awesome part of roleplay, but it gives the characters like limited buffs, right? Like this one's a huge +3 to your saving throw. Are you nuts? Insane? That's like legendary level, but you get it once.
You get it one time. Well, one for each eye, I guess, if you're crazy and your DM allows it.
That's assuming that they get them both out too. Of course, they're going to suffer the nightmare haunting if they fail on the check. So there's still a punishment there if they take the idea and then fail. So. I love the punishment for failed harvesting, right? All right, that'll do it for our encounter, the Dream Eater. Ian, would you like to tell us about our magic item today?
I got you your magic item today. Today's magic item is the Deep Pocket Cloak. Wondrous item and rare. It's made from a collection of bag of holdings. This nondescript cloak contains dozens of hidden pockets that have an interior space considerably larger than its outside dimensions. 6 inches in diameter at the mouth of each pocket and 6 inches deep. The cloak can allow you to keep a wealth of items close at hand. The cloak can hold up to 150 pounds, exceeding a volume of 30 cubic feet. The cloak weighs 5 pounds, regardless of contents. Retrieving an item from the cloak requires a bonus action. While wearing this cloak, you have a very nice +1 to saving throws. That follows all the additional rules of bag of holding.
Yeah, I didn't want to type out like 3 paragraphs of details for that. Yeah. Like, it's the same. Yeah. What do you think?
Love it.
This is literally like the cartoon trench coat.
Yes.
Where you're just like, let me pull out my Acme bazooka from my pocket and fire it at you.
That totally was the sort of inspiration for this sort of thing.
That's so good.
Because I'd love to play an artificer with one of these and does that exact thing. Right? So,
I definitely think the +1 to saving throws is a nice touch too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to make it so. There's 2 big changes that made it different than just the regular bag of holding. One is the bonus to saving throws, plus the fact it's a bonus action. So you, in theory, can pull things out and attack with them, or throw them, or use them. Which is why I made it a rare instead of the uncommon, which the bag of holding is.
It is essentially fast hands on an item.
Yes.
For yourself, specifically.
Yes. Very fun stuff. So, anything else?
Imagine the poor city guard who's got to search you.
Yeah, that's like that episode of The Mask where the cops are searching him and they keep pulling crap out of his pockets. He's like,
a rocket launcher? He's
hey,
like,
I got a permit for that.
I love that line, dude. That's literally was the Mask that I was thinking of.
Yes, that was part of it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Lots of inspiration for this sort of stuff.
That's awesome. What a fun item. This is fun.
Yeah. Austin, would you like to tell us about our Dungeon Master tip?
Absolutely. So our Dungeon Master tip today is the variant behavior. Now, surprise your players occasionally by making familiar creatures act in unusual or bizarre ways for their kind. Maybe an orc is having a nice tea. The variant behavior should be explainable if the PCs can discover the cause. Perhaps the setting changes those who stay within it for too long. Maybe the presence or influence of one or more creatures has swayed others to behave in an unusual way. Variant behavior can go in many directions. An evil creature might instead behave in a more benevolent fashion, or it could be limited in some way that prevents or suppresses its natural tendencies. Innocent creatures might be forced to fight for the bad guys, causing the PCs a moral quandary. Weak creatures might have stronger yet subservient allies. So, yeah, a nice short and simple one. Just essentially, this is the DM tip saying throw a curveball at your players every once in a while. Make that orc having to sit down and having good tea, but he also befriended a dragon, and they're good friends.
Well, and you could go the other way to it. You know, the two, you know, street urchin kids that are running around are giving you the, "Sir, we haven't eaten in 3 days." Really mean, "We haven't robbed a subject in 3 days. Please help us." You know, change it up a
Or
little bit.
alternatively, the street urchin kids are like, yeah, actually, that's probably just the best way to put it. Instead of them just being like kind little kids trying to look for help, they are helping themselves.
Yes.
To say.
And that's
This
go ahead.
made me think of a webcomic that made the rounds for a while on a few pages a couple years back of basically a bunch of, every time an individual got stuck in a dungeon, went to a lich, the lich would finally go, "Oh, you got stuck? Sorry about that. Let me help you."
Wait, what?
That's a items like this should help you out in the world. Go on your way now.
Actually, that is a perfect example right
Yes.
there. It's the lich saying, "Oh, instead of me trying to murder you all, hold on. I've just been wanting to read this book for the last like millennia, and people just keep coming in here. I like. Do you want something? I have plenty of things. Just take one."
Remember, that was a mind flayer, not a lich. But anyway,
I was gonna say, so there was a campaign I ran for our patrons that was like that, where they ran into a mind flayer in the Underdark, and he's just minding his own damn business, but he's a mind flayer, so he's intimidating, and of course his wife or whoever was with him was eating like out of a skull, you know, all these just like, you know, succulent meals, and he's very rude and has no taste for him, but he has like no beef with him.
Yeah, he's like, just get out of my home. I don't want to hear.
Of course, the players jump to, "Oh my God, are we gonna have to fight that?" Well, no, I didn't. He didn't attack you. He just wants to know why the hell you're on his property, like an old person. Like, "Hey, you!"
spoiler, I'm running Prince of the Apocalypse right now for my Monday group, and they came across this like in this level 5 dungeon, if you will. It's one where it had an arcane lock on it, and the players managed to roll a nat 20 and break it open. They open the door. There is a lich there reading a book who looks up and says, "Mind your own business."
Why are you breaking my stuff? Do you have anything on this, Anthony?
I love it. Yeah, it.
You ever break the mold?
Yeah. We'll definitely use this.
All right. That'll do it for our Dungeon Master table, or what? Our Dungeon Master tip: variant behavior. Our player tip of the podcast is: don't be a dick.
Be a dick.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good job. Love it. He's ready for it.
I can't be super loud.
And you can avoid dickitude by time for a bit of R&R. The Rogue Ranger multiclass is a powerful combination. It draws its power from both classes being dexterity based. Gee, I wonder why. Oops, I lost my show notes. It also combines the additional damage dice each class provides in their melee or range attacks. So, if you're looking to optimize your build, pairing several of these things together allows you to achieve beast-like damage. First, Hunter's Mark, an extra d6 for every attack. Yes, please. On top of sneak attack, that scales with level. Oh yeah. How about choosing a good fighting style? Dual wielder, for instance, or the what's the one-armed pokey one? Crap, I can't think of that. What is it?
Dueling.
Dueling. Yes, is it dueling? Dueling fighting style. That's what I meant, not dual wielding.
It's a free +3 damage.
Yes, it's fantastic. Lowers that lower end. And the Colossal Slayer, which is an extra 1d8. Or you can mix it with the Dread Ambush feature and get the Gloomstalker's 1d8. Either way, the player ends up rolling a fistful of dice every time they make an attack, which honestly we all love. It is debatable whether to start as a rogue or a ranger, but it really comes down to whichever saving throw and proficiencies that you prefer, as well as whether you're willing to wait until 6th level for X attack feature, after taking 5 levels in ranger for the extra attack, and then dump the rest into rogue. That's really up to you. But basically, what it comes down to: 1 attack, lots of dice, and that's something that's a lot of fun. Because I feel like the ranger gets a little more hate than it deserves, but that the fact that Hunter's Mark and the Colossus Slayer do allow you to do a buttload of damage, and then just topping that off as a sneak attack build rogue, I mean, it really can be a very fun role build to run if you're looking for something a little more heavier, I think. What do you guys think?
Constant
DPS. Stuff from Tasha's.
What's that?
That's not even accounting for the stuff from Tasha's either.
Yeah, I didn't have the book nearby. Is there anything in Tasha specifically you're referencing?
And the one that basically is like Hunter's Mark, but a D4.
Is that, I don't know what that's called, but I know what you're talking about. What do you think, Anthony?
Right,
do you ever have any optimizers at your table? Or do you ever optimize?
I allow anybody to bring whatever they need.
Oh,
I throw
that's
at it,
awesome.
They're going to need it.
I did
This
see.
means you gotta scale the encounter appropriately.
Yeah, I actually saw somebody who's like, you can play as much optimized as you want. I'll just build the encounters around it. Makes no difference to me. Did you figure out what it was?
Word foe.
Okay.
She pays the foe slayer feature, so yeah.
Okay. That's that might be better than the dueling then, right? Is that what you're saying? Or is it in addition to?
Well, it's an extra 1d4 damage to a marked target, so...
Got it. Okay. Very cool. That's a pretty straightforward player tip. I wanted to toss in I got to give the optimized players, as an ex-optimized player myself, I got to give you guys some power gaming love. So there you go. Take it with a grain of salt.
I feel like for the rogue side, definitely go swashbuckler, because...
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
When don't you get
right.
sneak attack?
I love it. All right, that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast.
Don't
be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by getting a little R&R. Before we close out today, we have another gift to give away. Ain't that right, Ian?
Yes. Our giveaway is the Theros Campaign Handbook. The Theros Campaign Handbook provides all of the tools you need to fill in the gaps in the mythic Odyssey of Theros.
Yes.
It includes detailed city maps, story hooks, locations, and NPCs for all the major cities. All 3 of them, that is. And there are also new archetypes and backgrounds designed for the setting.
Yes.
And the winner is Anakin 10,000.
Woo!
Yay!
To win? Not a problem. Head over to creditacademy.com and subscribe for your chance to win, and check out our free stuff that we give away while you're at it.
Yeah, super, super exciting. We like to give away gifts, so head on over, check us out. We always are throwing loot at you. So before we close out, my pal Anthony, would you like to give yourself one more plug? Where can people find you? Where can they find your community? And how can they be a part of this fantastic community?
I'm always hanging out at the Sages of the Forgotten Realms on Facebook. And then if you like any other D&D world and want to know more, I don't care if this is the first day you opened up your starter kit box, or you've been doing in D&D since 1975. We're there for you. No drama guarantee.
Oh, I love that. That is such a huge thing. The drama is hard to avoid, so kudos to your team for being able to do that.
Man, Joe, I'm just amazed that the giant people can stir up even just in a response to a simple question.
Yeah.
See people get roasted over what is an orc. They just hit them over the head and set them on fire. and it's an honest questions. There are people out there who don't know what an orc is.
And that is what it is.
And shoot, in one comment section, one person asked, how do you roleplay having low health? And my reply was, why would I?
Right?
Disable the current health and move on. And people are like, that's metagaming. I'm like, yeah, and not all metagaming's bad.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I've been got a lot of knowledge fed through my feed because of that group. I particularly don't. My knowledge is limited on Forgotten Realms. Mostly when I played 4th edition, I was Eberron first of all, which is mostly what I ran.
Love Eberron.
Yeah, I do. Me too. I'm right there with you. And then honestly, I wasn't super into the lore when I first started in like three, and so that group really keeps me up to date on all the lore and stuff, which I love. So that'll do it for our show today. Hopefully you'll join us next week. We will have a special guest on the show again, John Barnhouse. If you don't know the name, he's a very successful gaming dungeon fantasy RPG creator, fantasy trip creator, role-playing for 5e, OSR, all kinds of stuff. And he's got some really cool stuff coming up that we're going to talk about. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. Definitely come in and ask questions, because when you've got somebody that's been doing it for a really long time as a profession, you want to really answer those questions, those burning desires as a designer. So if you want to support the show, you can visit us at critacademy.com, follow us on social media. Please follow us on YouTube, leave us a review on iTunes. If you don't have iTunes, it's free to sign up just to leave us a review. We would love you for that, because all the podcatchers use that platform basically to determine success. And like Anakin, we want to be 10,000 success. So help us with that. If you're interested in Capes and Crooks and you want to see our upcoming stuff, you can follow us on YouTube, where we do all that stuff too. So
Yeah.
I am your host, Justin.
And I'm your guest, Anthony Thomas.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
And I'm your co-host, Austin. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. We'll see you guys later. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Hi.